Hello everybody and welcome back. It's been really cold this last week. We've had highs in the lower 20s and teens. We've had lows near zero. We've had snow. Now they're expecting ice. If you're like me, you go a little crazy sitting around the house. There's a lot of things to do outside. I have fencing to do. I've got to get the chicken area finished up. There's a lot of infrastructure work to have done before spring. And I have not been able to do any of that this last week. But also, if you're like me, you start thinking about spring, and there is things we can be doing to prepare ourselves for spring. And one of those is starting plants. Around here, we'll start plants during the winter, get them good and hardy, growing indoors, and then transfer them outside after the last chance of frost. Now, my brother has been doing gardening in kind of the northern part of the Ozarks, where I'm more central or southern Ozarks. But a lot of the information is the same. And he's very good at it. He's very good at starting plants and everything. So we were talking one day and he said he wouldn't mind coming on and helping me out. And so I thought, we'll transfer the reins to him and he can kind of guide us through a few things. So I thought it'd be nice to do a few episodes. Maybe we'll do this episode will be when to start plants, how to start plants. Then we'll talk about a few of our favorite varieties of plants that do well. And then breeds of chicken, because spring's coming up. So all this preparation you do during the wintertime pays off in the springtime. So anyway, without further ado, let me hand the reins over to my brother. Now, our plan was for him to come down and we work on this together, but weather has not cooperated. He has not been able to make it down. So he's sending me the videos and I'm editing them together. So my apologies if some of the editing isn't wonderful. But anyway, I think it's a lot of very good information that we can all use. So here he is. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Bill, Matt's older brother. And a while back, he and I were talking about the benefits of gardening, both towards how it helps you become more independent, as well as just the overall quality of life that it adds. Having that fresh produce and being able to just go out in the garden and get what you need at the time. He knows that I, of course, have been gardening for about 45 years, pretty much nonstop, and that I do a lot of organic gardening. I start my own seed from what I save seed. So I have a little bit of experience with it, and so he asked me to come on and kind of share some of that with you, give you some of my thoughts. My hope today is that we'll cover a few things. One is when to start seeds. Second is where to get seeds. Third, and what are some seed varieties that maybe you might find beneficial. These are some varieties that I've grown pretty consistently most of my life and have found to really be good producers, real consistent. So what do you say we get going? Thanks. So the first thing we want to talk about is when do we actually start those seeds inside? This is for, again, the tomatoes, the eggplants, the peppers, warm season crops. Now, I guess maybe first we should start off with why do we want to start seeds? Why not just buy the plants, right? And I think it goes back, for me at least, to that idea of being independent. During the COVID epidemic, a lot of people were kind of panic buying plants and putting them in little gardens and everything. And I went just to kind of explore a little bit, do a little research. I went around to Walmart and different businesses that normally sell plants, and I found that there was a real shortage of started plants, and that it was hard to find varieties that you may want to try. And if you're starting your own seeds, you don't have to worry about that. You also get to save seeds from the plants that you plant yourself. That you have grown in your own vegetable garden. You get to select the seed from the healthiest plant, the biggest fruit. Over time, you create your own variety in a sense. It becomes a strain that is adapted to your climate, your specific microclimate in your garden. And they thrive better, they do better. So that's why I recommend learning and getting proficient at starting your own seeds. So now, when you want to start your own seeds has to do with your growing zone. And so what I would say is get on the internet and look up the USDA agricultural zones. Look that up. It will give you the option of typing in your zip code. Type that in and it will tell you what your zone is, your agricultural zone. Here in the Ozarks, we go between about 6A to 7B, somewhere in there. And that will tell you when your last frost date is. You can use that to find out what your last frost date is. Here, they say it's about April 15th. And so I recommend starting your seeds then about a month and a half before that last frost date. So that would be for us about the 1st of March. That gives you a month and a half for those plants to get good and healthy and big. And then you wait about another couple weeks. About the 1st of May is when I put my plants in, when I transplant them into the garden. That ensures that I don't get hit or surprised by a late frost, and it gives them a little bit extra time to get good and healthy. So I hope that that's a helpful hint on how to calculate when to start your seeds inside and why to do it. Well, since we're talking about starting seeds, it seems like maybe one of the things we should discuss is what kind of setup and supplies you're going to need. So as far as the setup, location, that kind of thing, one of the things that you're going to need is a sunny window or other location that gets plenty of sunlight. That is going to help with your lighting, but you're still going to need some kind of grow light setup. Now what I use is like shop lights that are LEDs, and they are kind of a full spectrum. And when I first start out, I put them right down, almost touching the soil. And we'll get into that in a later video, exactly, all the how-tos and everything on this. Another thing that you're going to need is some waterproof trays, so that what you set the plants on, the cups that you put the plants in, have somewhere where you can water. I prefer to water from the bottom. In other words, you fill that tray up and let the water wick up through the soil. That way it's getting to the roots a little bit better, and it prevents the topsoil from getting too damp, which can lead to some funguses starting. I also recommend getting some heat mats, and not the kind of like what you buy for putting on a sore muscle or something like that, but these are specially designed for growing seeds, and they're waterproof and everything, so you don't have the electric shock problem. These help keep the soil temperature at the optimal point for germination. Usually most seeds about 70-75 degrees is what you need, and at night sometimes, particularly in early spring, the temperature gets below that, so these heat mats really help out with that. And then finally, you're going to need a small fan to blow across these at times. That not only strengthens the stem of the plant by causing it to kind of have to fight that breeze a little bit, but it also helps keep any gnats or anything like that from hovering around your plants. So those are the things that I would suggest that you're going to need as far as your location and kind of your general setup. And then we'll get into what supplies you need to actually start your seed. Okay, so then as far as the supplies that you're going to need, some of these are going to sound a little odd or unusual, but trust me, this is many years of experience in starting seeds that I'm speaking from here. So the first thing that you're going to need is some solo cups, kind of like this. These are great. They hold the moisture in a lot better than the peat pots, the little peat pots you can buy, or the peat pellets that expand when you add water. They hold the water in better. They don't encourage any kind of fungus growth on the side of them. You just put a little hole in the bottom, about maybe a little bit, about the size of it, like a pencil will go through, and that is going to really be great. Then you're going to fill that up with soil, but only about 2/3 of the way full. And we'll get into the reasons for that at a later time, but that's where you're going to start off with. Now, I really like using this variety here of soil. It's a Jiffy potting soil or seed starting mix. It's real fine, and the seed tends to do really good coming in emerging from that. So I recommend that. Sometimes in the past I've used Miracle Grow, and it will work fine. I don't have any problems with it, but sometimes there's some kind of larger pieces of wood and things like that in there. Just makes it a little more difficult. You're also going to need a spray bottle to kind of water these with and get into that. Then here comes the funny part, and you're going to think I'm trying to set up like a recipe or something, but in a way I am. So you're going to need, depending upon how many seeds you're going to start, you're going to need a bottle or two of some kind of a darker beer. I like Shinerbach for this purpose. That is going to add enzymes to the soil that helps with the plant accessing the nutrients it needs. You're also going to need some Epsom salt, some hydrogen peroxide, and a container of cinnamon powder, like what you use to sprinkle on toast or whatever. The cinnamon will help retard any kind of fungal growth. There is a fungus that's called dampening off, and your seedlings will get up, sometimes like about this high, and they're looking fine, looking healthy, and you'll go the next day and it looks like somebody's pinched them off right at the soil level, and they're just laid over and dead. And that's a type of fungus that gets started. And all of those things, well, not all of them, the hydrogen peroxide and the cinnamon will help discourage that from starting, as well as the fan going and a few other things. So anyway, we'll get into that in a further video down the road. Matt and I have been talking about doing where we're going to demonstrate how to put all this together. But since we've got about a month and a half till March 1st, thought this might be a good time to let you know what kind of supplies you're going to need. I hope that helps. And now we're going to get into the next topic of the conversation. All right, so we've talked about why to start seed, and we've talked about when to start seed. So where do we get these seeds? I have three sources, three seed catalogs that I order. Just about any seeds that I'm ordering from them, more than likely. The first is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. They're based in Mansfield, Missouri, which isn't too terrible far from Matt and I. Great quality seeds, dependable. They always throw in a few extra free packets of seed just to let you try something out, which is kind of nice. You get a chance to try something you normally wouldn't. Price is really good. It's generally the cheapest of the three. Quality is good, and they have a fantastic selection, including some really kind of bizarre stuff, python beans and jelly melons and things like that. It's kind of fun to go through their catalog, which is really a very high quality, full color photograph kind of catalog. So that would be the first one I would recommend. They also have a website, and Matt will probably put that website down somewhere so that you can find them online. I highly recommend them, as they're basically my first choice. So my second choice then would be Territorial Seed Catalog. Now they're based out of Oregon, so not quite as local, of course, but they have a fantastic selection. They do include some hybrid seeds in there, so you have to kind of watch if you're intending on saving seeds. Try and stay away from hybrids because they don't breed true. In other words, what you plant from the seed won't be the same variety as what you got. And I'll kind of explain that maybe later on down the road. The Territorial Seed Catalog, though, they have a really great selection, including some kind of odd stuff. You can order coffee plants and tea plants and things like that from them, which is kind of outside the norm. Their prices are pretty decent. And one of the things I really like about it is in their catalog, under each variety of vegetable, like let's say carrots, they have a growing guide that kind of tells you how long to germinate, how far apart to plant them, fertilizer, how many seeds per ounce, just a variety. They also give information on like common pests and kind of how to resolve those. So it's kind of a handy thing. If you've been gardening a long time, you may not feel like you really need that. But if you're kind of new to gardening, you may find it real helpful. Be honest with you, I refer back to it quite often myself, just to make sure that I'm remembering something correctly. And it's very helpful. It's a family-run business as well, so I kind of like doing business with them. So that is my second choice. My third choice is Seed Savers Exchange. Now, Seed Savers Exchange is a not-for-profit organization that has as its mission to find and collect seeds from real old heirloom varieties that are at risk of being lost. So if no one is saving the seed from a particular variety for very long, of course, it's not going to be around. It's going to go extinct, essentially. And unfortunately, there are some really good old varieties that are in danger of going extinct. And so Seed Savers Exchange, that's kind of part of their mission, is to find those varieties and offer them for sale so that people are growing them, and they also include them in their seed bank. So I like doing business with them. Now, they're a little bit more expensive than the other two catalogs that I've mentioned, but it's going to a good cause, so I feel like that's worth it. They have some really good variety. I've got probably, I grow collards every year, and the variety of collards that I grow, I buy from Seed Savers Exchange, and it has a wonderful flavor and does really good. I'm very pleased with it. So Seed Savers Exchange is another one, and all three of these seed catalogs that I've mentioned here are available online as well. So hopefully Matt will be able to put the link to their company online, and so it makes it a little easier for you to find it. So those are my three best sources for seed.
Well, thank you, Bill. Appreciate your help on this. We're going to kind of work together the next few episodes. We'll probably have 3 or 4. We're going to cover different varieties of vegetables that work well in the garden, the advantages or disadvantages of each one, kind of the differences in the types of plants, and we want to cover breeds of chicken so you can start ordering your chicks for the springtime. And we're also going to work together on actually starting the plants here once it's time to do that. So thanks again, Bill. Appreciate your help with this one, and I hope you all have a good week, and I hope to see y'all down the trail.